All right, Cub Scout leaders. Thank you so much for coming. January, yes, January. I had to think for a minute. It could be February, it could be March. Hard to say. I'm wearing shorts, so obviously I don't know when it is. It doesn't matter. January. Okay, so we got to the holiday break, Christmas, New Year's. We're starting to get back into it. We got Pinewood Derby breathing down our neck. We got blue and gold. It's a month and some change away. Next thing you know, it's spring recruitment. And oh my goodness, we got to have our summer activities put in place for summer camp and everything else. Okay, I'm exhausted now. Welcome to the new year. We're going to talk resourcefulness. Okay, of all the ones in Cub Scouts, by far, this is the best one I believe to describe a Cub Scout. If you take a Cub Scout leader and he walks by a table of something that someone's putting out, hey, free, guaranteed, I could use that. And they've got it with them. Okay, they may not have a plan. They may not even have a place to store it in their house. Their spouse looks at them like, what are you doing? But it comes home with them. I've got a box of tennis balls, used that don't even bounce tennis balls. What am I going to do with those? I don't know.
Sure, Bob.
I bet I'll use them for something. Or I've got a series of, tubes that came out of paper towels that somebody was holding on to. What am I going to do with those? I don't know, but I'm going to do something with them. Or somebody on Free Cycle was giving away a huge paper. It was 4 foot wide and it was like 750 feet of paper. Sold! I'll take that for sure. And I've been divvying off of it for a year and a half. My house is basically a hoarder's delight. That's what Cub Scout leaders do. We take trash and we make treasure out of it. Give something for the boys to do. We always go, well, Cub Scouting is not about taking the picture frame and painting, and put painted elbow macaroni on it. Well, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's taking really cool, crazy stuff and putting it together and making something neat. The only limitation is our imagination, right? Everything we find can be made into something. That's one of those. That's almost like a Yogi Bear thing. Not Yogi Bear, Yogi Bear. Even the skills and character may start with. Okay, there's the key part though. In Cub Scouts, we have boys that are great little boys, that mean well, have big, huge hearts. We have something in our hand and we're helping to shape that character. That's what we're doing. We're looking at all the resources around us to make that happen. Make it better while doing your best. Boil it down. That's Cub Scouting. Let your imagination release your imprisoned possibilities. All right? But I like Lord Baden-Powell's statement again. Once again, Lord Baden-Powell had something for everything. I tell you what, that man, I tell you, he must have just sat around all day long and had a stenographer beside him going, okay, I'll write that one down. That was great. The Scoutmaster initiates the ambition of the boy, leaving him free to gain his objective in his own way. Okay, that's a big way of saying that basically the Scoutmaster, or the Cub Master, or the Den Leader, or the parent, is there to provide the necessary engine for the imagination of their son, or the boy, or the youth. We're going to provide the construct, a safe location for them to try out their imagination, try out different things, and see what works, what doesn't. Kids have the absolute great gift of not being burdened with thinking too far ahead about, oh, that's just not going to work because of this, this, and this, and this. We doom ourselves as adults to so many things because we think, well, that'll never work. Kids will go after it. And you know what? They'll surprise the heck out of you going, that shouldn't have worked. How the heck did that work? It's because they put energy together in their imagination. They're just sheer joy. And that's the thing I wish I could capture back, because I find myself so often starting a project going, gosh, I wish I could do that. Oh, and I end up scaling it back till I'm not happy with what I'm doing. I've lost the excitement and the passion because I've already doomed it by thinking, well, I don't know about that. Resourcefulness. Once again, I always bring up the vision of scouting. Responsible, participating citizens and leaders who is guided by the Scoutism law. I bring that up because remember, that is your oath. You have made this oath to the Scout law. We're Cub Scouts, hey, we don't say it. It's still there. It applies to us. Everything we do should be able to point back to the Scoutism law. And we're working for character development, citizenship training, personal fitness. This is definitely character development. All right, so who's here? First time? First time? Anybody? Bueller? Man, I got no first timers? I don't think I've had a no first timer in at least, man, 2 years. Well, heck. Then we're gonna have to all do what I was gonna do. We're not gonna skip it. All right, so I'm gonna teach you some new cheers. Everybody stand up. All right. How many of you guys know the give them a big hand? Come on, that's like the oldest one of the, big Cub Scout hand. How about big hand with feeling? You guys seen that one? Hey, how about the Bigfoot cheer? Okay, the cornier the better. That's right. If you're groaning now, the boys are going like, that's great! All right, how about, oh man.
Watermelon cheer.
Oh, the watermelon. Oh, yeah, the watermelon. Piece of watermelon. Because you take big bites and you spit out the seeds. That's another great one. How about, let's see. Oh, here's one I hadn't seen before, which I thought was actually pretty funny because it shows how old this cheer is. The typewriter cheer. Kids are like, what? Click, 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 click. Ding! Click, 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 click. And people are like, what the heck are you doing? That's great. I remember typing. Matter of fact, I was talking to my son about typing class, and he's like, you mean keyboarding? No, typing. Like touch typing. What? These are great. So do some things from really back then, like, man, you were ancient. Yes, but they're fun, right? Another cool one, sonic boom. Okay, here's one. The sonic boom is that the people in the know, part of doing the cheer, will do something look like they're yelling. They'll open their mouth. But meanwhile, go to the side. It's like 3, 2, 1. Boom. The sonic boom of. It happened so fast, it went by, it actually took a while to actually get to. And I'm like, that was pretty cool too. All right, so I tell you what, we're going to do one more cheer and I'll have you sit down. How about the pirate applause? Okay, so, can you speak like a pirate? Aye, can you do it? Aye. Let's hear you, pirate. Aye, aye. All right, first of all, the cheer goes like this. Avast, ye landlubber, walk the plank. Avast, ye landlubber, walk the plank. Alright, all together now, ready? Avast, ye landlubber, walk the plank. Very good, please sit up. Don't sit down now, there's no need to. Cub Scout sign, 2 fingers all the way up, right? Far as you can reach. Not down here, not down here, not down here, and definitely not this hand over here. Okay, let's start with the Cub Scout promise. I, Brian Kale, promise to do my best, to do my duty, to God and my country, to help other people, and to obey the law of the pack. Law of the pack? The Cub Scout follows the Kale. The Cub Scout helps the pack go. The pack helps the Cub Scout grow. The Cub Scout gives goodwill. 2. Now you may be seated. All right. Funniest thing happened. Last pack meeting in December, I started off, and for the life of me, I must have had a serious brain was gone. I was thinking too far ahead. And we were doing the Cub Scout promise and the law of the pack. And for the life of me, I couldn't get it right. I was mixing Boy Scout oaths, I was mixing it all together, and it was horrible. Horrible. So I'm up there, and I'm doing it, and I'm thinking, well, this is embarrassing. But the show must go on, right? So what do? You're resourceful, you improvise. I go, well, I just completely messed it up, didn't I? Well, what should I do when I mess things up? Let's make it a life lesson, I did it on purpose, You know what? It's okay to ask somebody else for help. Hey, Weebelos, come with me. Okay, help me. Weebelos looked at me with a scared look. I'm like, we're going to say the Cub Scout promise. Okay. What? Don't you guys know it either? Oh, and I'm like, now I have to make it a big production. No, okay. I bet I can find somebody who does. I bet a tiger knows. And I go and grab a tiger, and I'm like, but you know what? Tigers are smart. They'll bring their handbook. And I have a tiger up here with his handbook, and he reads it. Okay. Made it a joke, made it a little slapstick, look funny. Truthfully, I was all screwed up. I just could not get my the right way. I was all over the place. But it gave me a chance to save face, but also to make it funny and memorable, because I made a point of it's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. Knowing that you can reach out to friends or a resource or a book or whatever makes the difference. So when you have these kind of things, turn them slightly. Use your resourcefulness to turn them slightly and make it a life lesson. If you would have asked the parents there and the boys there, every single one of them would have said, "You did that on purpose." Sure. Whatever you think. Yeah. I didn't do it on purpose. I just turned it around. Don't be afraid to do that. But once again, that does show why you probably ought to have these on the wall somewhere. Because everybody has a bad day. I mean, I must have said this, these things a million times. But I had previously, the previous week, done a Boy Scout event and been doing the Boy Scout promise, Boy Scout oath and law, and I'm like, so it's okay. Having resources are good things. All right, resourcefulness, February. All right, so here's the 12 core values of Cub Scouting. Okay? As I say every time, if what you are doing does not fit at least one, hopefully more than one, but at least one, your program is not the right program. Okay? No matter how fun the activity is, no matter what it is you're doing, if you can't find and be able to articulate what you're doing as far as core values, it's the wrong program. Think about it before you do the activity. Have the boys say, well, which one of these? They may not know all these 12, but maybe, which one of these, what do you think this was teaching? We're not trying to bang this in their head like at school, but you need to make sure that you consciously think, how does it connect? If you don't, you'll get caught up in the, hey, this is a fun activity. And then another week's worth of fun activities, and another week's fun activities, and then we've sort of missed our opportunity to have scouting be a game with a purpose. Purpose being the key word here. The 12 core values, directly to the Boy Scout law. As most of you have heard, in probably 2014, sometime the Cub Scouts are going to switch over to the Boy Scout oath and law. Okay? Some people are like, nah, not a big deal. It's a million years from now. We'll work it out, we'll make the transition. Some people say, oh, well, that's too complicated for 6-year-olds to understand. Maybe. But ultimately, we should be able to draw Cub Scouting into Boy Scouting, because Cub Scouting's job is to be a transition to Boy Scouts. To set the foundation, to lay the groundwork for boys to move to Boy Scouts, where they start learning boy-led leadership, where they start learning about true self-responsibility and understanding who they are, growing as young men. That's the job. So, resourcefulness is right on the money with thrifty. You bet. A lot of people are like, well, thrifty's all about money. No. Thrifty is probably the easiest to explain with money, but it applies to everything you have. It applies to your resources, what you have in your, on you as far as your time, your talent, everything. That's what thrifty actually means. It also means your friends, your contacts, what your team can do. Making sure that you're making the most of everyone's input. That's also being thrifty. Okay, that's being resourceful. Don't forget to excite the boys about Boy Scouts. Even the Tigers are good, want to hear stories of how Boy Scouts is coming and the fun things they're going to be doing. It's the hook. It keeps them coming back. All right, so resourcefulness. The using of human resources and other resources to the fullest. I absolutely hate definitions that use the same word in. Wow, that told me nothing. But you know what? This is the official one that's given by Scouting. I'm like, what? But what it really comes down to is, how do I meet the situations, effectively? Using what's at hand. The intangibles and the tangibles. How do I do it? All right. This one right here. I need to have this one plastered on my forehead for my sons. I do a real good job with my boys, in Cub Scouts, but my sons, I do a bad job with this. I will assign them a task, and they will start going off in their own little way, and then I will correct them and correct them and correct them until the point of they're frustrated, I'm frustrated, and it just doesn't get done. Why? because I believe my way is the only way to do it. Okay, in some ways, safety has to be kept in mind here. You know, if my son, you know, decides he's going to go get a butcher knife and do some cutting of things, which he believes should use some, you know, some regular scissors, I need to intervene. But taking that aside, let the boys try their way. Now, in some cases, we need to have something done in the next 2 minutes, and I don't have time for you to discover, to reinvent the wheel. Okay, that's fine. Give them an opportunity, though. I love the quote at the bottom, you know, the bumblebee shouldn't be able to fly, but it doesn't know it, so it does. The bee movie was on like 2 or 3 times, and they mentioned that several times. You know, the bee, the body's too big, the wings are too small. How can it fly? It just does. And that's what it is with boys, too. How the heck did that work? It just did. Okay? The most valuable resource that a boy has is his imagination. Let him use it. Let him enjoy using it. Let him find ways to leverage it. Because oh so quickly, life will, you know, will basically push it down. Don't let it while he's a boy. Let him move forward with that, and maybe he'll keep it alive. Maybe he'll keep that spark and be that guy that has got the next big idea, or will come upon, you know, and will have all these amazing thoughts of, hey, what if we did this? Imagination is his most important resource. All right. So, but boys are just like all the rest of us. We tend to approach the problems in the same way. Right? 9 times out of 10, if I give you a problem that you've seen before, you're going to approach it the exact same way you did last time that was successful. Why? Because we believe it's more efficient. Why do I need to reinvent? Plus, I can be thinking about something else while I'm doing it. It's okay to try another way. Encourage the boys to come up with a different way. Maybe you can even defuse it by saying, you know what? I'm betting you're thinking about doing it this way. Can't do it that way. Try a different way. Scouting is the one program out there where it is safe and okay to fail. Absolutely it is. That's one of the things that I love about scouting, is because it's okay to fail. Failure is not final. Okay? And make sure we're also applying this to us. Are we doing the same thing every year? I've been Cub Master of my pack now for 3 or 4 years. I've been involved with this pack going on 7 years now. Am I seeing us doing the same things every year? Yes, I am. Is it hard to get out of that rut? Yes, it is. Because we all have tons of other things on us. I don't have time to reinvent this. But maybe you should. Maybe you should get the ideas from someone else who's not been coming to every committee meeting for the last 3 years, 4 years. Somebody else. What do you think? What should we be doing? Approach them differently. You'll be surprised. Now, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You always have plan B, which was the one that you have used in the past, to fall back on, right? Don't be afraid to try something new. All right. Character connections. Once again, the character connections are in every single one of the ranks, and they have to do with the requirements for the rank badges, whether it be, you know, tiger, wolf, bear, etc. Use them. These are a series of ways to go about talking to boys and getting them to open up and start thinking. Not just a yeah or no question, or I'm really not paying attention to you thing. You know, things like, hey, come on, list the materials needed to fulfill the achievement. You know, what we need to work on. We're going to work on this requirement. What do we need? List the requirement. Okay. Well, what if we didn't have this? What do we do? Oh, I don't know. We do this. And I'm sure you'll get some crazy answers, because boys at that age will give you some crazy thing. Well, what we can do is we can get a shark and we give them some, you know, put a battery in it. What? Okay, sure. But let them go with it. Let their imagination, you know, it's not going to be something they're going to do. It's okay. Let the imagination flow. You know, what about asking questions like, well, what if you didn't know the answer? Or you didn't know what to do? Where do you go? A boy inherently knows some adults in his life that he can go to. He knows that. He may or may not want to say it because it may be embarrassing. But ultimately, we need to encourage him to also think of you as a Cub Scout leader, is one of those adults that if he has a question and he needs help with something, you're there for him. Parents, teachers, other adults in his life. How about asking them, well, what do you think? Do you think people who are resourceful, are those the kind of people that you like being around? I find that people who are really resourceful are the ones I enjoy working with the most. They take the pressure off of trying to come up with everything. You know, you've got a really dynamic team that's coming up with lots of different ideas. I enjoy it when the boys are in that mode and you can sort of step out and let them decide what's going on. We can try this, we can try this. And they're brainstorming. They don't know what they're doing. They're not using the buzzwords that we've all learned in program management or whatever, but they're doing it. And they're discussing small things. Well, that'll work. No, that won't work. And every once in a while, they'll degenerate into being boys. Ah, that's stupid. Okay, wait a minute. We don't say, you know, we're not calling anyone stupid. Every idea deserves a moment. It may not be the one we use, but everyone, you know, it's, you know, we're brainstorming. And let them go back. It's amazing to watch their minds work and watch them work together like that. It's great. Use your character connections as this opportunity. Use EDGE. EDGE is a methodology that has been moving into the scouting arena officially for 3 or 4 years now. It's actually in Boy Scout requirements. It's taught at Wood Badge, which obviously I'll speak a little more about in a little bit, but it's also a great way in the fact that it steps someone through a learning process. From explaining to demonstrating. Demonstrating is they're observing what you're doing. Okay? I can learn a good, you know, if I just explain to you how to do something, you may have got it, may not. Depends on if we're speaking the same technical lingo or not. You may, I think I know what you're talking about. If you see me do it once, like, you know, if I'm making origami, you know, dragon. You watch me do it once going, okay, that was a lot of folding, and I see you're working with paper, and I sort of get it. Then ultimately, if I have you up here with a piece of paper, and you start doing it, and I'm like, no, this one's right here. And every once in a while I'll provide you a little bit of course correction. You're getting it, you're practicing it. And then finally I should get you to the point where you can actually not only do it, but you can teach someone else. That applies to everything else we do in Cub Scouting too, for resourcefulness. You know, when we start getting down here and different projects and games, and start, you know, when we go camping and just kind of find ways to have them put together the plan. They are being, at that point, forced into being resourceful because we don't have infinite things around us. Hey, you know, you guys going to plan the meal? Okay, great. I tell you what, I want to limit it to the following things. Ooh, how are we going to do that? Well, this. We're going to do foil cooking. What do we need? They'll start thinking through the resourcefulness of what is required, timing, the way to go about things. Anybody heard of a Genius Kit? No? Genius Kit has actually been around a really, really long time. It's been modified several times too, but obviously because old CDs weren't in the original set that I remember seeing. But what it is it's a pile of recycled material. Every single boy has exactly the same material, whatever you happen to have. And then the rules are that the boy, typically the boy, depending on the age group, and maybe his parent as a partner, are trying to come up with the most imaginative or interesting or useful or whatever item they can out of the items at hand. You guys have seen Apollo 13, right? Apollo 13, the air scrubber's not working, and the guy walks in here with a box of stuff. This is what we got. We need to build an air scrubber. And they're struggling with what that's a fun exercise. And the boys love that kind of exercise, plus they're making something that no one has ever seen before. At least as far as they're concerned, no one has ever seen before. Okay, so, and you obviously you're given awards for things that are, they can be whatever you choose. You know, I'm not a big believer in just a participation award. It should actually apply, but you know, there's plenty of opportunities there. Creative, useful, using the most items. Each one of these have real meaning. You know, you don't have to use all the products. You can cut them as what you want. Any tools. It's a fun thing. It's a fun little project that can then be used as like a display or something out at maybe a pack meeting, blue and gold, something like that. People are like, wow, what is that? And maybe you have what you have is just an area set up with showing here was the raw materials that they have to begin with. And then all the different things are out there, and people are like, wait a minute, they made it. Oh yeah, there's the CDs, and there's this, and there's that. And the boys will love talking about what they came up with and how they thought of it and how it worked out. It's a great project. And it's really easy because you're just pulling stuff out of your recycling bin, right? Emergency Preparedness Award. Talk about resourceful. How many of you have run this program in your pack? Anybody? 1, 2, good. This award right here. I've run it in my pack. I've run it in my pack several times. It was definitely created to create, as far as the Department of Homeland Security and the Boy Scouts of America partnered together to create a more prepared scout, which I think is very funny considering scouts are always known as the ones that are prepared. But apparently they thought they wanted to get even more prepared. So, it is age specific. Tigers, wolves, bears, webelos, Boy Scouts, venturers, adult leaders, district leaders. There's different requirements for every single one of them. Matter of fact, mine, when I earned this, I earned it when my boys were wolves. Their requirements were one thing, mine was a different one. Because, you know, for me to earn it and wear it, I had to do certain things, which was a matter of putting together a special med kit for our pack. And, you know, an evacuation from our meeting areas and different things as far as to be prepared for that. Because as a leader, that's my job. The wolves, on the other hand, they had other kind of responsibilities. You know, it's not just first aid. It's a matter of thinking through, what are the possibilities? What do I need? What could happen? You know, obviously, you probably all heard that your med kit is only as good as you. You open up your med kit, and if it has 1 billion pieces of medical equipment and you don't know how to use them, it's just more weight. Hey, this is great, shiny. I don't know what to do with it. Back in the old days, when AEDs showed up, they weren't auto-sensing like they used to be. And there's huge warnings written all over that you should not use this unless a trained professional, because you had to actually check to make sure the person was actually in a heart distress. Because you can kill somebody with them. It didn't sense going, wait a minute, this guy's fine. And the running joke in my office was, I don't care what I look like, don't use that. Because, you know, it was hanging on the wall and it was like, yeah, you look a little pale. No! You know, nowadays, that piece of gear auto-senses. And it will tell, it actually will go and, yep, this person is in distress, and it will automatically do everything you need for it, as long as the battery's charged. But being prepared means you've thought through the process. Baden-Powell even said that being prepared was not a question of having every single contingency taken care of for you, but the fact that you've thought through what those contingencies are so that you have a beginning of a thought of what's required when it happens. For instance, here's a tiger cub. Achievement number 3, Electric 27 and American Red Cross First Aid for Children Today. I've got brochures on that in the back there as reference. Please don't take long, I only have one copy with me. But the First Aid, American Red Cross has all this paperwork and these documents and these books and this educational stuff that they want to put in your hands. These are great things to do. The McGruff. It's just a little thing about McGruff, take a bite out of crime, you know, stay safe booklet, and it has them a little section there where they can do their own fingerprints. That's also part of this program too. A lot of fun things to do. And it's worn on your left flap. What about service stars? You guys give out service stars in your pack? Some packs do, some don't. Some packs are like, there's another thing for the boys to lose. Some to fall off their uniform. Or them to wear improperly. Part of it is, though, is an indication for the boys to go, you know what? You have invested your time. This one is unlike any of the rest in the fact that the only requirement for them is time. It's not based on graduation from, you know, from tiger to wolf. Nope. It's not based on graduating from, you know, webelos to Boy Scouts. It's based on time. And it's determined from the date that the child became a scout. If the child came in on January 15th and became a scout, the next January 15th, they're eligible for their 1-year service pin. Interesting thing about it is, when you start giving these out, you'll see boys up there with a 1, 2, 3, 4 on their shirt, like, no. It's hard to tell, boy, you can't wear them all. One replaces the next one. But, one replaces the next one. And that's the way it's supposed to be. They do have numbers on them for a purpose. On your second year, the 2 replaces the 1. Okay? Now, these also apply to Boy Scouts, Sea Scouts, adult leaders, and they have different colored backings depending on which program you're in. Okay? For instance, mine up here, I have a yellow, a green, and a blue. Yellow is Cub Scouts, green is Boy Scouts, blue is adult leader. As an adult, or even as a youth, you can wear the different stars with the different backgrounds for the programs you've been involved with. So, for instance, if you were a Cub Scout for 3 years, a Boy Scout for 2 years, and then you were a Sea Scout for 2 years, you actually could wear yellow, green, and red. You can have each one. Or you can combine them all together into one color, whichever program you're in then. As an adult, you have the choice of wearing individually broken out like I'm doing now, or bring them all together into blue. If I add all mine together, I'm at 19 years. So I can have 19, there's no 19-year pin. I can have a 10 and a 9. Or next year I can get my veteran 20. Either way. But then I would wear it that way. I choose to wear my programs because I have boys ask me, what do the colors mean? Well, I was a Cub Scout for 4 years. I was a Boy Scout for 7 years. And I'm like, oh, okay. It gives you a story. It's a lead into a war story. It talks about what we did, why we did things. How about a attendance award? Anybody ever given one of these? Nice. These I hardly ever see around. It's a shame. And it's unfortunate too because they've got the bad rap of being called the Perfect Attendance Award. They're not the Perfect Attendance Award. And because they are often thought of as a Perfect Attendance Award, the thought is, well, nobody can never miss a meeting. There's always got to be something. And it's not the kid's fault if they miss one because their parents are doing something. No, it's not a perfect attendance. It actually is an attendance award. And that's it. National has no requirements associated with this. Once again, it's a pin without a requirement. So I think it's crazy. But anyway, PACs establish their own. You can establish anything you want, as long as it's consistent. Okay? So, and it's also worn up here. It's usually worn with the stars. And depending on the number of bars, the bars could actually go down, drape over your pocket. Because there's a different bar for each area. And this one, unlike the stars, you would not replace the 1-year bar with a 2-year bar. It would hang below it, continuing on. Okay, so, you guys are like, well, what requirements would you put on it? Here's some suggested requirements. So how about you allow the scout to miss 1 PAC meeting? That's a pretty good deal. 9 PAC meetings to miss 1? Not bad. 11%. How about also, they also need to only miss 2 DIN meetings throughout the entire program year. A 2 out of 18, once again, 11%. That's not too bad, right? And then maybe they need to earn the National Summertime Award. That means they've gone to at least 1 summertime event in June, July, and August. We want to do that anyway, right? Your PAC's already trying to put together a lot of fun events during the summer. Sure, that should be no problem. Make them have them attend at least 1 camping trip? Sure. Just going to meetings is not scouting. Getting outside and doing fun things is scouting. You know, whittling sticks, poking them in the fire, making s'mores, that's scouting. Have them go do that. Attend a day camp, resident camp, and then at least 2/3 of the special PAC activities. These are not overly stringent requirements. Now, you do need to make your requirements such that not every single boy has one of these on his chest. Or else, why would you do the program? The object is to provide a goal, something for them to reach for. Just make sure it works for you and it's achievable. If the requirements are so out there that you have 1 boy every 5 years earn 1, probably a little too stringent. Probably back it up a little bit. Because it's fun. It gives the boys something to, sort of shine about. Because they have put in the time. Pinewood Derby. You guys ready for Pinewood Derby? My trophies just showed up on my doorstep this morning. Gosh, you gotta love that. I ordered them 2 days ago, and there they are. It's amazing. I was actually planning for it to be much longer because I don't need to store those boxes, but apparently I'm going to. So, but it's fun. The boys go out there. Talk about resourcefulness. You're given a block of wood, 4 nails, and 4 cheap plastic wheels. Make a car. And the dad's like, yeah, we can make a car. You know, remind everyone that it is about sportsmanship and resourcefulness, but it's also about family togetherness with the boys involved, to the point that there is appropriate for their physical activity, capabilities. Tiger shouldn't be using a bandsaw. Truthfully, a weeblow is depends on the weeblow.
Well, the thing is about power derby cars, you don't need a bandsaw. You don't need power tools to build.
You don't actually need anything. You can actually put the nails in the block, and it's still just as good as a car than a car that looks beautiful.
Well, well, the other thing is this: is what you want to do is the 3 things that you need if you don't want to do a coping saw, which is one of the requirements they have to learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Use that as a tool, and a couple of the rank requirements. A rasp, and to shape it, and then sandpaper.
Yep, a sanding block. That's it.
And if you want speed, 5.
Use this as an opportunity to teach resourcefulness too. My pack has never done this, and one year I need to do this. It always comes up in my head in January, which is too late to tell the pack, hey, we're going to do this, because they need a couple months to sort of get in their head this is going to happen. But run a trash derby. Car made of recycling material. That'd be cool. It'd be fun. That's right up there with also the Father's Open League, where the fathers can build any car they want, and there's no requirements other than just safety. One year we'll do that one too. And you'll probably see it in the Leesburg paper. Yeah, the crazy thing, car flies through a wall or something. So, but remember, it's about sportsmanship, and it's about the boys. How about your blue and gold? You focus on resourcefulness there? Hope so. I hope that you're using your blue and gold to highlight the activities and the achievements that the boys have made. Not just their ranks, if your pack does that. A lot of packs do the ranks at blue and gold. But also some of the things that they've done throughout the year. Maybe whether it be a centerpiece, maybe they bring in 1 or 2 of their products or things they've done throughout the year that they're exceptionally proud of. Doesn't mean it has to be a long drawn out, they're going to make a presentation. Hey, tell us what you did about this. It doesn't have to be that. But maybe it's something as simple as some of the things they did with a triptych behind it with a little bit of explanation, and people have a chance to go back and look, oh, this is what they were doing when we saw them doing it, when we were huddled there. Or that's really neat. Or, oh, we get to do that next year. Stuff like that. It's also use resourcefulness when you recognize your adult leaders. Not all packs are made of money. You can't just say every single adult leader, hey, here's your Crystal Eagle. Thank you so much for your service. Right? Hey, it's more like, here's your wooden spoon that we painted gold. Thank you so much for being the chairman of the Blue and Gold Committee. It's all about the thank you. It's all about the boys seeing that's important to thank people who do things for you. And it's also about the boy whose parent gets pulled up front. That's my mom or dad. That kind of thing, right? So use resourcefulness there. I mean, some of them are incredibly corny. Are they going to find a place on some shelf in an office in the house and it's going to be a treasured memento? No! Don't put that pressure on you. It's just the object of that moment. It's like a thank you note. You don't anticipate someone's going to take that thank you note and frame it and put it on their wall. Maybe, but probably not. You think of it the same way. I'm just providing a little bit Cub Scouty thank you note. But use your resources. Make fun of it. Fun of this kind of thing. I've seen people use pieces of you name it to make special awards that make sense. They're corny at the moment. Everyone laughs. Oh, that was great. And it's the object of thanking them. It's a good deal. Anybody can go out and buy something big. Anybody can go and say, hey, here's your $25 gift card to Payway. Thanks so much. Now, don't get me wrong, those are nice too. But put some thought into it. Talking about resources, how about the National Alumni, Scouting Alumni? Anybody a member? I'm a member. Anybody else? The National Scouting Alumni was stood up almost 18, 19 months ago. And they are actually still getting their feet underneath them as far as how they are going to leverage the millions upon millions of people who have been scouts in their life. It's an ability to bring in resources from all over. You know, just because you are no longer involved with scouting doesn't mean that you don't remember scouting fondly. And you know what? I have the skill I can provide. It's that capability. This knot right down here is the alumni knot, which is actually awarded for going out and actually reaching out to other scouts, former scouts, to come back and provide their insight, their talents, their time, their resources. Okay. This is in the Boy Scout main webpage. Read up a little bit. If you're a former scout, it's worth your time to read up on a little bit. All right, going forward, Arrow Light Recognition Ceremony. Once again, that's in March. This is not the event that is the actual Arrow Light badge is given out at. That's the responsibility of your pack. This is a special recognition where the dance team of the Order of the Arrow for our district is going to do a special ceremony to make it even more meaningful. Okay? So there's no cost, but we will need, the registration will come up pretty soon so they know how many of these special patches they have and what they need to do as far as this event. It's going to be March 7th. The location is still TBD. It'll probably lock down here in the next few weeks. But it is a great opportunity for your Webelos to just receive just a little more accolades for their activity. The Arrow of Light is the highest rank that can be awarded in Cub Scouts. It is the only Cub Scout patch that can make the transition to Boy Scouts. It is the only Cub Scout award that actually has a knot that an adult can wear. It's that kind of important. That's a good deal. Friends of Scouting. I won't belabor this much, but the fact that explain to your parents what Friends of Scouting is. If you don't know, come talk to some of us and let us talk to you about what Friends of Scouting is. It's so easy for a parent or someone else to just think, oh, it's just another chance for them to ask for money. It's very easy to get in that kind of mode. It's really not. The Friends of Scouting has so much more to it as far as scouting scholarships and as far as managing the program and keeping the camps running and so many things that happen. The dues that are paid go to your unit and a little bit to national, nothing to the council. Yes, sir.
One of the things our PAC's doing this year is taking a look at our budget, and if we have any budget excess, we're going to stroke a check when the...
That's great.
And I think that's a good idea for the PAC to present a check while the Friends of Scouting are up there, which may grease the wheels for some parents to do as well.
I agree, absolutely. Because ultimately, I know plenty of units that are taking advantage of the camperships, which come from Friends of Scouting, explain that this is the ability to make sure that boys who may not be able to make it to camp can go to camp. That's the kind of importance. We are reaching out and we're paying it forward. So, you guys got a summer camp coordinator yet? You're like, what? It's January. It's cold outside. It's time. Matter of fact, it's almost too late. People are already putting together their summertime vacation. They're already putting it on the calendar. We're going to go to the beach here, we're going to go here, we'll probably go to Disney World here, and all of a sudden, their summer's full. Get on their calendar. It's important to get boys to go to summer camp. It really is. Whether it be at Camp Snyder, they've got sleepover camps, they've got day camp such. Whether it be our own Goose Creek District day camp or twilight camp, which is incredible, it's real well run, great volunteers, and it's right in our backyard. Or whether it be Webelos going to Camp Goshen, Camp Rosser, Camp PMI, for a true Boy Scout experience where you spend 6 days out at a Boy Scout camp. All those are great opportunities, but you need to get this information in front of your parents now. And you need to be very clear, because parents will go, oh yeah, it sounds great, summer camp. And then there's the, well, we probably want to do that. But then no one remembers when the due dates are. Or that we actually need to tell somebody we want to go. And then all of a sudden they show up in June going, hey, we want to go to summer camp. Well, that's great. Okay, let me see what we can do. And then they question why the cost is so high. Well, can you wait till last minute? Yes, sir.
Are we getting somebody to come up like we did last year to talk about?
You can as well.
Snyder?
I'm not sure that they are going to go to every unit unless requested, but absolutely.
Well, they came here to the Roundtable last year.
Reggie probably will. I'll probably can get Reggie in the next month or so, the camp director to do so. Yeah. If I can write that down, because that's a good idea. So, get in front of the information. Yes?
Do you have some units who have gone to the Algonquian
do not, Stacy, you know?
I can find out.
Okay. Is Sean still the DE over there? Move on?
I have someone, I know someone that
Okay.
is in the Palatine district, so.
If worst comes to worst, you can always kind of look to the district webpage for that and contact their DE. Their DE will be more than happy to give you information or anything you need.
Okay, all right, thanks.
And your boys are free to go to whatever scout camp. The object here is get them to a scout camp.
Oh, good, so if the schedule doesn't work for timing,
Absolutely.
you can suggest.
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
I mean, would we like for them to stay local? You bet. But ultimately, the object is to get them to go to camp. They stay in scouting longer, they have better memories, they have a better, more rounded experience. Camp is great. I mean, my best scouting experiences are summer camp based. I mean, I vividly remember a lot of things at summer camp, and you know, it was great. I remember accolades and achievements by going and doing, like when I was a Boy Scout, doing a mile swim. The first time I did a mile swim, if someone would have told me I could swim a mile, I'd have thought, you are crazy. It was great, and it made me feel like I was 10 foot tall. These kind of things, even for Cub Scouts Weebelows, is there. So we need to make sure we encourage it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, the Algonquin camp and the camp we have here, those are week long, but Goshen and Snyder have summer-long programs, right? So you take your boys, and there's plenty of weeks during the summer.
Yeah, there's lots of opportunities here, and even depending on, I mean, and maybe if you've got several boys or whatever the case may be that don't fit in with your unit, let some people know here at the district, and we'll see. Last year we actually had several boys fall in with other packs during other weeks. Because we're one big happy family. We want to make sure we want to get all the boys to camp. So. Journey to Excellence. You guys looked at your 2013 list yet? No? Did you turn in your 2012? Yeah. I packed our 2012. We didn't do quite as well as we did last year. We still got our level, but our points number was lower. Why? Because I took my eye off the ball in the last 4 months on what was required. Have the list of the Scouting Journey to Excellence at every committee meeting and review it. Take a minute. How are we doing against these? Okay. Some people are going, well, this is a lot like quality unit back when we used to set our own goals. It really didn't mean anything. No, these are goals that are set by national, and they are set in such a way that you can't help but improve your program and also improve your retention and make sure that you've got the right leadership succession in place, which is important. Follow these. Okay.
The big key thing is you want to look at is that if you're going for the gold level, the requirement for 4 service projects. You don't want to do what we did last year. Last year we did 4 service projects in the fall. What you want to do is plan your calendar so that you do 2 in the winter and the spring and 2 in the fall. And scouting for food does count.
Yep, it counts.
As well as you don't necessarily have to invent the service project. You can partner with another organization, such as a church, clothing collection and all that, and participate and support that and get service hours.
Yep, absolutely.
I have another one. If you send your boys to camp, they will do a service project.
Absolutely.
There you go.
It counts.
Up here, the ones that are in red have new requirements for this year. Okay, that's over half. So be sure and take a look at it. Don't assume, it's the same as last year. We're just going to keep doing what we always did. Nope. Better take a look at it. All right, University of Scouting. Talk about a resource. Right there it is. The University of Scouting, a lot like Powwow, is coming out. Is a great opportunity to receive tons of good scouting information, training, and hey, I should try that because this is a great idea thing. Powwow is more in the Cub Scout how-to. University of Scouting is more of the why we do it and give you tools to actually take that to the next level. And it's also for all programs, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, venturing, and also there's an elective that are tons of different scouting skills. Okay, everyone's encouraged to go, no matter what your role in the pack. There are courses for you there. It's a one-day event, and typically You can take up to 6 courses. It is a great opportunity. I have tons of fun. It's going to be February 23rd. Typically it's around $35. That includes lunch. The fun part about here is even if the courses themselves, you know, put those to the side. They're great, and we have tons of great instructors, but part of it too is you're interacting with 600 to 900 other scout leaders. You can't help but pick up ideas. Hey, we tried this. How'd it go? What'd you do? Reinventing scouting is a surefire way to stress yourself out. You don't have to do that. Borrow. Or plagiarize. Whatever you want to call it. That kind of ability to reach across and use ideas that have been tried and true with other folks is using the resources at hand. This list of courses right here are some Cub Scout ones that were offered last year. I do not know. More than likely, these exact same ones will be there, plus a few more. Every year they add a few more. But, great opportunity. Go look online, register for that. Definitely one not to miss.
Where?
This year I believe it's going to be in Maryland. Where is it? Here it is. Oh, Alexandria this year. Oh, it's in the same high school. That's good. All right. Don't forget to keep up with your training awards. The interesting thing about it is a couple of training awards are being phased out as far as the requirements are changing. Officially, the requirements changed in 2012. Ultimately, use your best judgment as far as if someone's been working on something for 9 months and they're almost done, you know, locking them off because, oh, you didn't make it. No, that's not the right thing to do. The patches are transitioning from the more colorful patches to the more traditional patches with devices. These traditional patches, the colorful ones, will be available at the store until they're sold out, which will probably be a year. But, you know, so either one of these type are totally acceptable. But here's the object. The object is make sure you have somebody in your pack that's keeping up with it. This is a way to show your volunteers we care about you, we're looking out for you, we know what you're doing, and we want to thank you for it. Okay? This is that opportunity to pull them up in front of the pack and make a big deal, just like a rank is for a boy, and the fact that this adult did this for you guys. And so here is something for us to say, thank you ever so much. Make a big deal of it. If they don't want to wear it, that's fine. Because some people don't want to wear any knots, it's okay. But make sure you actually give it to them. They can put it in a frame in their home or whatever they do. But the object is to show the boys that it's important to know what people are doing for you and to appreciate the details. Not the, hey, good job. No, I need to be able to tell you, thank you so much for doing this, 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 and this. It's just like when you write a thank you note. You know, not just thank you for the gift, it's thank you for the blah, blah. I will definitely use it when we do this. You know, don't you tell your kids to write them that way? And the kid's like, I don't want to write it that way. Be specific. Speaking of service projects, we're a brand new year. That doesn't mean that we've moved out of the year, you know, the part where people still need help in our community. There's always a need. Whether it be things like backpack buddies, you know, which this church is one of those. Whether it be, you know, coats, whether it be something. There are plenty of needs in this community. Find the charity or some other organization, a church, synagogue, someone who is reaching out to the community, partner with them and help them. The boys need to understand that we help other people at all times. That's what we do. Give them the opportunity to do so. Wood Badge. Wood Badge is a training course that is offered usually 2 times a year. It is more than your average run-of-the-mill training course. There for the longest time, everyone would go, well, it's the PhD of training courses. No, that was actually unfair to the course in the fact that it kept a lot of people from going to it that truthfully would have gotten so much from it. It is a course whose intention is to take what you already know and make it better by teaching you leadership skills and training skills. As long as you are fully trained in your current position and eligible to wear the trained patch, you are eligible to go to Wood Badge. The object here is we will teach leadership and the ability to what your actions will create a legacy which will have a greater impact than you could possibly imagine. It's a great opportunity. Each weekend is 3 days long. You get put into a patrol, you meet with them a couple times during the 2 weekends, and when you come out the other side, you will put together a ticket that has 5 goals in it. The 5 goals, the purpose of them is for you to show and to experience and to actually use the tools that you've learned to create a legacy of leadership. Great opportunity. The one coming up right now in spring 2013, we are already in staff development. We've been working on this a lot. The staff puts in hundreds of hours. When you show up for a wood badge course, the staff is already a high-performing team, and it is a great opportunity. So, Goose Creek right now only has 2 people signed up for this upcoming wood badge. We can do so much better than that. I encourage everyone to consider a wood badge. If it's not this one, maybe the next one or the next one. Plant the seed. Every leader, in my opinion, should eventually go to the course, because ultimately the tools that you learn there, you can use everywhere. I use them at work, I use them in volunteerism, I use them in scouting. Great tools. And anyone that's wearing either beads, a tote neckerchief, or a tartan neckerchief like Stacy's wearing like that, it's been to a wood badge course, and they will talk to you until your ears bleed about it, because that's how much we enjoy it. Parking lot. Parking lot's right over where Kevin, on the table Kevin's sitting at. The object of it is to put down any information that, if you have a question, a need, hey, I'd really love to see us talk about this. Please don't ever talk about this again. Could you stop doing this? Can we change the format completely? Could we meet outside? Whatever. Put it on a suggestion, please, because that's the way I get feedback. A lot of times people come ask me questions, and a lot of times I'm like, can you put that in the parking lot? Because truthfully, by the end of the meeting, my brain's a little fried, and I'll mean well, and I'll say, sure, I'll get to it, and it's gone. So that's the best way. But what I'm going to do this year, actually for this one right now, I'd like to ask everyone here, I would like to ask everyone to go in and actually put 3 goals that you would like to see for Roundtable. You don't have to sign it, you don't have to put your name on it, just 3 goals. Things that you would like to see Roundtable accomplish this year. If it's, hey, more breakouts, okay? If it's more hands-on activities, okay? Whatever. I need some feedback, because once again, the whole, just because I've done it this way, this is actually the end of my 5th year of being Roundtable Commissioner. Hard to believe. I took over for TJ many, many months ago. And in reality, it's very easy to get into, this is the rhythm I'm in. And maybe I'm meeting everyone's needs and maybe I'm not. So this is a way for me to know. Upcoming events, University Scouting's there. Scout Sunday, Scout Sabbath. Look for an opportunity for your unit. Encourage your boys to actually attend their places of worship in uniform. If you can't go as a unit, encourage them to go individually, with their families to wherever their place of worship is. There's the Arrow Light Ceremony. We got the Goose Creek Pinewood Championship on March 9th. Put that on the calendar. Make sure all the boys know about it. If your pack is running a Pinewood Derby, make sure that your rules match up with the Goose Creek District ones for construction. Because if they want to go on to the District Championship, sure would be nice if they don't have to make modifications to their cars. So, and the rules are also, the construction rules are already on the website. Commissioner College for the commissioners, that's coming up. Also the same day as the Pinewood Derby, which is unfortunate. And then here's the last one. Den Chief training in April 6th. Den Chief training is not just for the Boy Scouts that want to be Den Chiefs. It's also for the leaders who will be using Den Chiefs. They should go to this course as well. They need to understand what a Den Chief is, what they're supposed to be doing, what they're not supposed to be doing, and how to properly mentor them. It's supposed to be a leadership opportunity, a leadership experiment for these boys to help grow and also be role models for the Cub Scouts. Sure helps if the leader knows what they're supposed to do with them. Otherwise, it's just more people that you have to worry about. Start, stop, continue. Do this with your units. Do this with your committee. Do this with your program staff. Make it a conscious effort. Talk about it. What should we start doing? We all think, oh, we know what we're doing. We're going okay. Take a moment to put it into words. And you'll be surprised. We should stop. Or hey, have we ever thought about doing this? That's a start. And that's what I'd come down to for me. I'd like to set 3 goals. That's my stop, start, continue. I ask for that all the time, and sometimes I get something, sometimes I don't, but I'd ask just for just to take a minute. They don't have to be overly deep goals. They don't have to be, you know, world peace. But I would love to know, what would you love to have happen? Or would you like for us to stop? All right. I feel pretty good on time today. Resourcefulness. So, we talked earlier about a boy's imagination is his most valuable resource, right? So, gosh, it seems like many moons ago I had a den of 22 boys. It grew from 10, and I lost, in the history of that den, I lost 2 boys and gained a whole heck of a lot more. And I never could split them up. I never could figure out how, which is probably a big mistake, and I probably should have. But I was always amazed when we threw out a project with that many boys. I had to rely on them to say, okay, this is what I want to do. Here's my thought of how we're going to do it. How do you boys want to do it? Now, some would say, well, you were just being lazy there. No, I honestly believe that if I, just like I'm asking you guys for a feedback, that kind of capability of them giving back, here's how we'd like to do it, made them buy into it. They were more interested. They weren't, well, you know, they weren't going to go over here, oh, look, clouds, clouds. You know, they were actually going to be involved because they were actually designing it themselves. Walt Disney put out these 2 quotes pretty close to each other. They almost come out at the exact same time. And it's funny, Walt Disney, you know, there's tons of different stories, both good and negative about Walt Disney, but ultimately, these are incredibly powerful quotes if you believe them and if you can follow them. If you can dream it, you can do it. And it's kind of fun to do the impossible. I tell my sons, I tell my Cub Scouts constantly, if you start something by saying I can't do it, you won't do it. If you say that I can do it, you at least have a chance of doing it, right? As leaders, make sure that we are not blocking off the boys from dreaming. That we're not trying to throw cold water in their face of the reality. We, in our heads, will say, oh, I'm saving them from pain for later. No, we're not. All we're doing is we're throwing that cold water on now and taking away the joy and the capability that they have within them. And maybe that fire will catch on us and we'll start to quit being wet blankets and go, you know what? I'm going to try something new today. Learn from your boys. That imagination, that spark, that belief that anything is possible is a great gift. Take it in, try it for yourself. Don't make them, you know, small copies of adults. Try making yourself a big copy of a kid. Facebook, the numbers are increasing. Still not getting anybody else posting. Post, people, post. Both of them are open. I do moderate, and it's being moderated by several other members of the committee. Anything your unit's doing you want people to know about? Questions? Experiences? Hey, we tried this, this worked great. Hey, we tried this, it didn't work good. Put it out there. This is the kind of thing that's going to be the ability for all the units to sort of learn from each other. So please do. And our next roundtable, February 13th. Day before Valentine's Day. Thank you oh so much for spending your time. I know that having one more meeting a month is tough, but the fact that you spend the time means a lot, and I really appreciate it. And please take the time to put down the 3 goals, because it will make all the difference in the world, and we'll continue to make this better. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you could put the chairs up, I appreciate it.